Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, and I'm going to speak not too much about technology for the sake of technology, because what's interesting at the end is the applications, the use cases, what's in for the environment, what's in for the consumers, what's in for the world. So I'm not also going to speak that much about ICT for energy efficiency, because about 9 years ago, I chaired the group, and we worked with the DG Connect, which was called DG Info at that time, and we produced exactly a document called ICT for Energy Efficiency, where we said all the data machines and so on, they contribute to 2% of emissions, but that contribution to 2% of emissions from running all the machines can influence very much the 98%. So now I'm going to speak about where we are today, some few figures, and what we call digital transformation. I will be mentioning some proposals I made when I joined this Europa Forum, hosted by Commissioner Oettinger a few days ago, where I made some proposals about where we have to move on with digital transformation in the energy sector. So where we are today, we are in a world where we will be 9 billion by 2050. We have 3 billion internet users. We do have a big number of the industry manufacturers, like Samsung, saying by 2017, 90% of my devices will be connected, will have an IP address. And this is going to be the case also for the majority of the manufacturers. And on the other side, we do have also the environment. We have more and more accidents, climate disasters. To give you some numbers, 1990 to 1999, we did have 200 climate disasters per year. Then 1999, 2009, we'd have 350 climate disasters. So the number is increasing, and the cost of these disasters is about $780 billion of climate damage, and that was touching about 55 million people. Now, how to do things differently? Just reporting on the facts, this is the job of journalists. If IT is only about reporting on the facts, journalists can do it. So what's new is we are today in a world where we can gather, collect all the data that we need. Actually, the data will be one day almost for free. It will be cheap. So what we need to do is making a use of that data is really develop all the intelligence to predict when an equipment is going to fail, to predict when an accident is going to happen, to predict what is the consumption of a consumer, of a population, of a country, of a region, for example, and to say this is how much Europe needs in terms of energy capacity, because this is a demand at a given point of time. So this is the big thing that we believe, and this is why SAP, for example, has noticed the importance of this topic into bringing all the enterprises we work with into that digital transformation. So we have about 13 labs. Potsdam in Germany is one of them, Palo Alto in the Silicon Valley. We have in Dresden and many other places, different labs. Most of their focus today is on digital and the big data. And our co-founder, Hasso Plattner, has created also Hasso Plattner Institute, which has a focus on the big data, where we are doing a lot of projects on medicine, on energy, on climate, environment, and other things. Now, let me come to the proposals for the energy sector specifically, which I have made in Lach in Austria. We were about 70 executives about looking about where digital should be in the future. So if we jump into that digital story, I think 5 big projects should be done in Europe. First one is we have EU 28 member states, and sometimes a country needs energy from the others, from the neighbors, sometimes the other way around. So if we get to have these countries connected all together, that we have a cross-border of the energy capacity and providing energy to the other one when it's needed in real time and receiving energy when it's needed from real time, we will change the shape of Europe and contribute to building the energy union. This is proposal number 1, which is called cross-border energy management. And this is to help really building the energy union of resources. Second one is guaranteeing the energy independence for a given country or for a given region. Today, Europe imports 53% of energy. Now, what should we do? Do you know, and this is we are specialists in ICT and so on, do you know that we don't have in Europe or in many countries a cockpit which can gathers all the data and gives you at least an opinion or a decision, like you have in any plane, because you have factors, you have wind, you have aerodynamism, and basically the pilot and the co-pilot don't think that much. The system thinks for them. So the idea is to build what I would call an energy cockpit simulator, which would gather the data which is produced in Europe from conventional and renewable energy, the data which is imported or exported as well, to the level of details that it can help us map the consumption and the demand with the capacity that we have, and simulate and give us the answer anytime. What is the best configuration I need to have to be good in terms of providing to the consumers the cheapest, the closest, and the cleanest energy? For having that answer, you need to run millions of scenarios. Okay, but this is always the question. We need the system. We need the system to provide what is the best configuration to provide as close, as clean, as cheap as possible to the energy to the consumers. So that was the proposal number 2. Proposal number 3. This is how to make energy simple to consumers. Why in the telecom industry, and we just had a nice speech from BT, why the telecom industry things move very fast. First of all, in 12 years, all the actors came together, the manufacturers and the system operators, and they built a standard called GSM. Second is, they all considered that it has to be as simple as picking up the phone. In the fixed telephony, when you add that fixed telephony, it has to be as simple as well that anybody, children and others, should be using that. Same story when the iPhone came. Also, the design was done to be used as simple as possible by anyone without trainings. So if you get to put in place kind of a service of one-stop shop for any consumer to say, okay, I want to transform my home to become a smart home, to go from A to B, what do I need to do? I go and I click somewhere and I get a full solution by providing some characteristics about my house. I get a full solution for that, and then I can move very quickly and put it in place. As simple as plug and play. First proposal that I made is about how to not reinvent the wheel and not asking everyone, every actor, every company to redo their job. So disseminating these things as fast as possible across a member state or across Europe. And how to do that is the development of energy exchange platforms. This is really the future. Okay, to have a kind of eBay of energy, to have a kind of social networks of energy, etc. There will be a huge number of platforms in the world. Our company did buy an American platform which does only trading, buying and selling, and the value of that company was billions, Ariba. Okay, and there will be a lot of companies like that. We are currently working on an official project called Horizon 2020, called Flexiciency, where we have 18 companies working on that. What we are building a platform for connecting all the distribution electricity companies and the suppliers and retailers together. We have about 10,000 in Europe, on a kind of platform like iTunes, where some of them will be packaging applications for demand response management or energy efficiency, putting that on the platform, and then these applications could be downloaded by others, that they do not reinvent the wheel. So the platform is the future, and it's not the future only in the energy sector. The future is also for farmers. We have 580 million farmers in the world, more than half a billion. It's also the future for analyzing all the cancer data in medicine, for example, where you have 14 million cases, and this is growing by 2035, growing to 28 million. So how to solve and improve different sectors of the economy is by sharing the data and by bringing all together to share that data. So if you are talking about medicine and life science, it's between the labs and hospitals and clinics and the manufacturers like Siemens Medical and so on. This is how you can improve the situation. And the big challenge we have today is we have walls. And same for farming or agriculture, for instance. To remove the walls between the ones who provide seeds and fertilizers, the farmers, the agricultures, and the companies like John Deere, this is how you can collaborate among business networks. And the last proposal is about innovation. What we need is to have, as much as possible, a generation of new ideas from every individual in Europe, for instance. I take the example in our company. In 2003, we created something called Inspire, SAP Inspire, where we asked every employee to submit any idea which comes to his mind, which could be innovative. We did evaluate 1,700 ideas in 1 year. We did build 70 business cases, we did get 10 approved, and one of them was disruptive. So we needed a huge number of ideas, of things like that, to get at the end one. And the one which was disruptive was about digital. Big data, in memory, the things which is called HANA at SAP today, which is the most important product we have today. So if we help by creating a kind of a virtual Silicon Valley hub, for example, to help all the companies in Europe, plus the startups, plus the individuals, entrepreneurs, and so on, to submit ideas, to connect them also with the investors, and so on, we can have a great move forward. So to conclude, if I would like to have like a takeaway here out of my speech, and to summarize all what I said into a few words, I would say, first of all, what we need is to have a free floating of data among Europe. All what I said about the energy cockpit, business networks, cross-border energy management, that is only feasible if the data is available. So we need to come to where telecom is today, to where even the financial industry, like banks, for example, they share all the data about the customers and so on in Europe. They collaborate, they clear, and so on. We need to come at that stage. I was in a meeting with DG Connect today where we talk about how to make a platform where we can have that free flow of the data of all the 250 million consumers in Europe. And we expect by 2020 to have 72% of these consumers to be equipped with smart metering, for example. So we will have all this intelligent data available. Once the data is available, and once the innovation and the innovation hubs I spoke about are available, then we have a space for all the SMEs, for everyone to come with models, with mathematics, with predictions. And this is going to be really the future. The need for a big number of models for predictive maintenance, for predicting the consumption, for predicting accidents, for preventing that Fukushima happens again, and so on. So data is the condition number one, is we need to make it available and floating in Europe that we can do something with it, and then build all the predictive models on top of it. So the prediction, the data scientists, the modeling, the mathematics, this is really the big need that we would see in digitalizing the environment and doing things for the climate change. Thank you.